In 2021, 22 students of a school whose teachers were trained by Penn sat for the Basic Education Certificate examination. Guess what? We received this email on the 11th of March 2022 from the founder of the school. The email said, "Hello Heather, attached are our BEC results for 2021. It is amazing that everyone in the class got a 1 in science. The impact of the lab is incredible. Thanks for your help, Robert." Indeed, science was the only subject in which all 22 students had 1. Here is how the story began.
About 2018 or so, we decided to build a science lab, at our school. And I did some research on science labs and how we were going to do this. And I read some article that mentioned Heather Beam about her PhD work that she did. The research topic was how to teach science using everyday materials. That idea really attracted me. So I got in touch with Heather for her to provide our teachers with training and also help us determining how to set up the lab, the materials that we needed and all that. Initially, the kids were not really as interested in science, but with the introduction of the Penn program, we saw that the interest had really increased. The proof of that is that this past year, when we got the BEC results, the kids did very well, across the board. But I noticed, that every one of the 22 students got a 1 in science, which means that they really were getting it. And for all of them to get a 1 is really something, spectacular.
From 2016, Practical Education Network started working closely with the Ghana Association of Science Teachers to train some of its members to become trainers to deliver the Penn training to their peers. One of such trainers is Mr. Emmanuel Okoye, whom we trained as a master trainer to train teachers at Novastar Academy in 2018.
The teachers at Novastar, like I was saying, at first were surprised to see the kind of materials that we were bringing on board, because it was as they were expecting huge other things that they have known from the traditional kind of labs. Here we're bringing out very, very simple things. But something that was so great about the teachers were that the moment they saw what we were going to use, they started asking questions. Oh, okay, so for these other materials, because they realized some of them, they wanted to verify how they can also get them, knowing very well that, PET bottle is easy to get them. I mean, balloons, you can easily buy balloons elsewhere. We're using syringes, so as for those ones, how do we come by them? So we just have to explain to them that the first thing I do is study the environment when I get to any new place and see which materials are available, and then how I can equally chance on anything and then use in my lesson demonstration. So they became very enthused about that. And you could see that they were so happy and very ready, to participate in the whole thing.
We caught up with 2 of the teachers who were trained, and they reflect on how teaching and learning was before the Penn training.
I used to teach only the theory aspects. I copied the notes on the board, I let them write the same thing in their notebooks, and then I just explained. Whether they understood or not, I was just focusing on them reading what I've given them. And I realized that it wasn't that effective. But after the Penn teaching, I realized that the children were more involved in the lesson, and then because of the training sessions that they had with us, I was able to impart similar things into them, and then they began to have more interest in science. I thought practical approaches were very difficult, especially how you obtain the materials for the various activities. But after the training, I realized that the materials were locally made and could be found around us in the community. So even with that, sometimes I asked the pupils to bring them from their various homes, and they brought them for us to do the practical, all thanks to the Penn approach. I feel very proud because all my students were able to get 1, and then that was something that I wasn't able to do. So now that I've been able to do, I think I'll give the credit to the Penn approach.
Science experiments were usually, we were thinking of it as advanced activities involving specialized equipment, but Penn made us realize that we can have science experiment with locally made and then locally sourced materials, which will make science experiment very easier. The Novastar students were all able to have grade 1 in their BECE science. I can say it is not a surprise, because going forward into the exams, the students were very confident, and then how they answered their mock and internal questions made me realize that they were actually ready to pass their BECE due to the activities that we've been doing here before the BECE. So using a pen approach made the students really confident and then well prepared for the exams.
Here you have it. All 22 students scored excellent grades in science. Congratulations to you all for passing your BECE. Our follow-up shows that 40% of the students are currently studying science-related courses in senior high school. What will it look like if all schools in Ghana, especially less resourced schools, teach science practically using local materials like Penn does?
We should make it a point that under no circumstance should we teach science without the practicals. And again, we don't need the sophisticated materials so far as we are concerned. They're very, very available materials around us. And when we make the science hands-on, we would reap the results.
Science and technology is the future. Okay, and the more effort that the schools put into that is going to help the children a lot. And if Ghana were to decide, okay, to focus on science and technology, it can make a huge difference in the outcome, for the country. Yeah, so I really hope that, the powers that be notices and put some effort into making science really central, okay, to the education system.